In the heart of the bustling town of Furfuri Nagar, where every street smelled of spices and laughter echoed from every corner, lived two inseparable friends named Motu and Patlu, whose bond was stronger than the mightiest rope and whose mischief had once caused the entire town to chase them in a hilarious commotion that left even the most serious citizens laughing. For Motlu, with his round belly and insatiable love for samosas, and Patlu, with his sharp mind and clever strategies, were more than just friends. They were legends in their own tiny world, dreaming of grand adventures far beyond the narrow alleys and the familiar faces of their quaint town, always imagining what life would be like if the world were bigger, brighter, and filled with wonders beyond their imagination. One sunny morning, as Motu attempted to balance 3 samosas on his plate while explaining to Patlu the intricate art of choosing the perfect chutney, a royal messenger, clad in glimmering armor and riding a majestic white horse, arrived in the town square, announcing with a booming voice that the king of the neighboring kingdom, Majesticpur, was hosting a grand ball to find suitable suitors for his 2 daughters, Princess Riya and Princess Tanya, who were renowned across all lands not only for their breathtaking beauty but also for their intelligence, kindness, and the graceful way they handled every situation with dignity and charm, and that all young men with hearts pure and intentions noble were invited to compete for the chance to win the princesses' hearts and become princes in the royal family, bringing with them honor, responsibility, and a life unlike any ordinary one they had ever known. Motu's eyes widened with excitement, almost spilling the samosas on the ground, as he imagined the palaces, the golden carriages, and, most importantly, the endless supply of exotic samosas that a royal kitchen could provide, while Patlu, ever the cautious thinker, adjusted his glasses and contemplated the seriousness of such a challenge, knowing that courage, intelligence, and true kindness would be required to win the princesses' hearts, and that it would be far more than just a test of luck or charm, for the princesses were wise and would see through any deceit or shallow attempt at impressing them, making the journey both thrilling and daunting. After a long discussion in the quiet corner of their favorite tea stall, filled with the aroma of fried snacks and the hum of town gossip, Motu, barely able to contain his enthusiasm, exclaimed, "Patlu, imagine us living in a palace, with servants to bring us food, endless gardens to explore, and maybe even our own samosa festival." Patlu, shaking his head with a gentle smile, replied, "Motu, royal life is not just about fun and food. It requires discipline, responsibility, and a mind that can face challenges head-on, but if we work together, perhaps we can succeed, and it could be the adventure of a lifetime." With hearts pounding and spirits soaring, Motu and Patlu set off from Furfuri Nagar, their journey taking them through rolling hills, dense forests, and sparkling rivers that reflected the golden sunlight, as they imagined the grandeur of Majesticpur with its towering palaces, cascading fountains, and gardens that stretched like an endless sea of colors, where every flower seemed more vibrant than the last, and every bird's song felt like a royal melody welcoming them to a world beyond. Imagination, filling their minds with dreams and hopes of a life that seemed almost too magical to be real. Upon arriving at the palace, they were met with a sight so magnificent that Motlu's mouth dropped open, almost as if the samosas in his bag had jumped out in surprise, while Patlu could only nod in quiet admiration, realizing that their lives were about to change forever, for the palace was adorned with glistening marble, golden domes that caught the sunlight like mirrors, and towering gates that seemed to reach the sky, guarded by knights in shining armor whose eyes held both curiosity and respect for the young men from a humble town who dared to dream of entering such grandeur. Inside the great hall, filled with nobles, knights, and eager suitors from all corners of the kingdoms, Motu and Patlu finally saw the princesses for the first time. Princess Riya, with her long flowing hair adorned with delicate, sparkling flowers that seemed to glow in the sunlight, had a gentle smile that could calm even the most troubled heart, while Princess Tanya, with eyes deep as the ocean and full of both wisdom and playful mischief, exuded a charm that could disarm the most confident suitor, making Motu's heart race and Patlu's mind whirl with thoughts of how to approach such regal beings with grace, courage, and honesty. The king, a towering figure with a voice that commanded respect, announced, "To win the hearts of my daughters, each suitor must prove his courage, intelligence, and kindness through a series of challenges designed not only to test the body but also the mind and the heart, for only those with true nobility within themselves shall succeed, and only then shall they be worthy of the love and partnership of Princess Riya and Princess Tanya. The first challenge, a test of courage, required the suitors to climb a towering cliff to retrieve a golden rose guarded by a fierce dragon whose scales glistened like molten gold and whose roar echoed like thunder through the mountains, sending shivers down the spines of the bravest men. Yet Motu, despite trembling and clutching his stomach in nervousness, whispered, "Patlu, we can do this together. Just don't let go of my hand." Patlu, ever the strategist, nodded and devised a plan, leading Motlu through the rocky paths while carefully throwing shiny coins to distract the dragon, and with a combination of Motlu's determination and Patlu's clever thinking, they successfully retrieved the golden rose, earning the admiration of the princesses, whose claps rang like bells of approval, filling the friends with pride and joy. Next came the test of intelligence, where the king presented riddles as intricate as the winding rivers of the kingdom and puzzles as complex as the labyrinths beneath the palace, challenging each suitor to demonstrate not only quick thinking but also creativity and insight. Motlu, though initially distracted by the thought of a plate of hot samosas, soon found himself attempting to solve the riddles with Patlu guiding him patiently, and while Motlu's humorous mistakes brought laughter to the crowd, it was Patlu's brilliant solutions that impressed the king and the princesses, showing that even in moments of levity, true wisdom and intelligence shone through, winning their hearts further and earning smiles of approval that melted any remaining doubt about the friends' worthiness. The final test was the most emotional of all, a test of kindness, where each suitor was sent to the nearby villages that had been devastated by a sudden flood, tasked with helping the villagers rebuild their homes, rescue trapped animals, and provide comfort to those who had lost everything. Motlu and Patlu, without hesitation, rolled up their sleeves and worked tirelessly, carrying heavy loads, calming frightened children, and even crafting makeshift boats to save stranded livestock, showing that true nobility comes not from wealth or strength but from compassion, empathy, and selfless action, qualities that the princesses valued most in their future partners. After days of rigorous challenges and tireless efforts, the king, smiling with pride and satisfaction, declared, "Motu and Patlu, you have surpassed all expectations. You have demonstrated courage in the face of fear, wisdom in the midst of complexity, and kindness that touches the hearts of all. Therefore, it is my honor to invite you to become princes of Majesticpur by marrying my daughters, Princess Riya and Princess Tanya, who have chosen you with their hearts." Motu and Patlu could hardly believe their ears, their minds spinning with disbelief and joy as they realized that their dreams had not only come true but had exceeded every imagination. Motlu, already thinking about the endless samosas he could enjoy in the royal kitchens, whispered excitedly to Patlu, We really are going to marry princesses." While Patlu, feeling a sense of pride and fulfillment, nodded, understanding that their journey of friendship, courage, and heart had led them to a destiny beyond even their wildest dreams. The wedding preparations were nothing short of magical, with the palace transformed into a wonderland of sparkling flowers, shimmering lights, and music that danced through every corridor, while artisans from across the lands crafted gowns, crowns, and ornaments so exquisite that even the sun seemed to pause in admiration, and Motlu, in his royal attire, felt both out of place and utterly thrilled, while Patlu, composed and thoughtful, marveled at the grandeur and the responsibility that came with their new roles, knowing that their lives were about to intertwine with history in ways they had never imagined. On the day of the grand wedding, the sun rose in a golden sky, illuminating the palace gardens where fountains sparkled like diamonds and birds sang as if celebrating the union of not just individuals, but two hearts and two destinies. And as Princess Riya took Motlu's hand with a smile that could melt mountains and Princess Tanya held Patlu's with warmth and grace, the crowd erupted in joyous applause, celebrating love, courage, and the triumph of hearts pure and true, while Motlu, barely able to contain his excitement, vowed to always stand by Riya, through laughter, adventure, and the simple joys of life, and Patlu pledged the same to Tanya, promising loyalty, wisdom, and a partnership that would withstand any challenge life could present. The celebrations continued for days, with music, dancing, feasts, and laughter that echoed through the palace halls, where even the walls seemed to rejoice in the happiness of the newlyweds. and Motu and Patlu, now princes, never forgot their roots, often inviting friends from Furfuri Nagar to share in the joy, recounting tales of their adventures, and, of course, indulging in samosas that became a symbol of their journey from humble beginnings to royal life, proving that laughter, friendship, and heart could bridge any gap between ordinary and extraordinary. Yet palace life brought challenges alongside its grandeur. A mysterious storm threatened Majesticpur from a neighboring kingdom, sending waves crashing against the walls and the people into panic, and the king, knowing the courage and wisdom of Motu and Patlu, entrusted them with the task of saving the kingdom, for he had seen their bravery, intellect, and unwavering compassion in action before, and the friends, together with Princess Riya and Princess Tanya, set out to confront the storm, devising a plan that required clever thinking, courage, and unity. And through forests dense with danger, rivers wild with current, and mountains steep and treacherous, they journeyed with determination, using their unique strengths to overcome each obstacle. Motu's bravery, paired with Patlu's quick thinking and the princess's knowledge of magical remedies, allowed them to reach the heart of the storm, where they calmed the raging winds, diverted the floods, and restored peace to Majesticpur, their heroism celebrated by every citizen, animal, and creature in the kingdom, proving once again that true greatness comes not from title or wealth, but from the heart, the mind, and the courage to act when others falter, and in doing so, they strengthened the love and bond between themselves, their spouses, and the people they had vowed to protect. Years passed like golden sunsets over the palace towers, and Motu and Patlu continued to rule Majesticpur with wisdom, humor, and compassion, their days filled with council meetings, festivals, and quiet evenings where they shared stories on the balcony, watching the stars twinkle above the city that had become their home, always remembering the lessons from Furfuri Nagar, never losing their humility, and always cherishing the journey that had taken them from ordinary friends to beloved princes, proving that destiny rewards those who are brave, kind, and true to their hearts. And so, the legend of Motu and Patlu became one told across kingdoms, a story of laughter, courage, wisdom, and love, inspiring generations to dream beyond their circumstances, to value friendship above all, and to embrace the extraordinary possibilities that life offers when hearts are pure and intentions noble, leaving behind a legacy of joy, magic, and endless samosas that would be remembered in tales for centuries to come. And they lived happily ever after, not just as princes of a kingdom, but as heroes of hearts everywhere.